And I think in terms of where we go, we've said it a number of times, we will always stay with that technology landscape, high performance computing, cloud, AI, sovereign cloud. They're the types of things that are being spoken about today. In 10 years' time, it will be different, but we as an organisation will still be at the forefront of that and still be actually helping organisations to understand how they adopt it, how they use it to create ongoing value, sustainable value for their organisation economically, environmentally, and also in the way that they contribute to society. So, that's something that I think will stay with us, all of us as a team in building the business.
Welcome to this very special edition of the Technology Boardroom podcast. Today, we have three very special individuals joining us on today's session, and we're based in our London hub here at Advania. Today, we have Geoff Kneen, our CEO, we have Paul Barlow, our CRO, and we have James Hardy, our CCO, joining us to talk about the coming together of three fantastic businesses to form an IT organisation that will be able to help our clients solve any of their business challenges. So let's jump in. Let's talk about the past, I think, to start with. How did we get to this joining of these three organisations, Geoff? What sort of stages did you have to go through to bring it all together?
Yeah, thanks, Pete. And it was, it was a long process. Is what I'd say, because, we've built Advania in the UK for many years and as a full service provider to our clients, but really in that managed service and digital transformation arena. And partly through the combination Advania's strategy, but also from the opportunity of what we were seeing in the UK, our clients were looking for more. They were looking for us to actually step into other areas where they had challenges. And they were also looking at how we could couple more of our services much more closely with the hardware and other devices that they use around their business. So it was pretty clear to us that strategically, we needed to step into that resale space and add that procurement, that logistics, that configuration capability to the rest of what we did so that we could offer almost a full service to our client and build upon what we were doing. So across that 2 years, we scanned the entire market. We knew that we needed progressive organisations that understood the value of the technology procurement, but also how that could blend in with the services and could see that these worlds are coming together. We effectively created a shortlist. And we really needed to understand that the organisations that we were looking to work with really believed in that same proposition to the clients, the same opportunity in the market, and that they were ready to take the journey with us in complementing everything that we already did. And we were really pleased that both Servium and CCS, fit that bill completely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Geoff. Paul, from a Servium perspective, I think it was 8 months now, I think, or is it slightly more than that?
Slightly more. June the 7th last year.
Crumbs. How time flies when you're having fun. From your perspective, how's it been? How's life coming together with Advania turned out so far?
I think I'm probably bound to say great, but once we get that out of the way, it's worked really well. With any coming together of businesses and things like that, you'd expect there to be some bumps in the road. And they genuinely have been few and far between. I think the key thing, and when we were looking at from being acquired, from my role then as a CEO, part of my responsibility was, what's the culture fit going to be like? And can I look the 40 people in the eye and turn around and say, this is good. Yep. This is going to be a good journey, and we'll be able to take all your careers forward.
Yep.
If I look back now, a year and a month, I can.
Yep.
And I think genuinely, the bumps in the road haven't been there, and the coming together of the businesses, seamless is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it's not far off.
Yep.
And the fact now that we're in a space where I think we were limited by our size and scale. And we're just getting our heads around taking advantage of all the resource and skill set within the business that we have as a larger Advania.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And James, last but not least, you're the newest part of the family. Being that new boy into the team, how does that feel? How have the team accepted that from CCS?
Very well. If we look at the journey that CCS Media was on, we had built an organisation around breadth, and we were layering in the technical depth that the evolving needs of our clients required of us. And we'd been on it wasn't a short journey, it was a long journey to build that capability and develop that capability into a dynamic capability to offer that to our clients. And coming together with Advania and Servium, just part of that evolution. So how we would move forward to be able to offer the richness of professional managed services, digital technology capability and public cloud capability on top of all of the technology workloads that we provided to our clients day in, day out. It was just a complete evolutionary step for us. Of course, it feels a little bit daunting, right? It is evolution when you times out by 10. Then when you're acquired, it feels maybe a little bit different sometimes for some folks, but we judge people based on actions, and there's not been any action that anybody's taken inside Advania that's been detrimental to the thesis of us coming together in a positive way.
Fantastic. And certainly, as an individual within the organisation, one of my main roles is really to work with cross-sell. So I'm working across all of these individuals. And personally, I think it's a fantastic set of individuals with some really, really great and strong client relationships. So for me, again, one of the key things when you're bringing organisations together is culture. And making sure that culture doesn't really grate against each other, for me, is a really important thing. How much did that go into, the joining of these organisations together?
A huge amount, Pete. And I had an inkling that you might ask that question, so I left part of the first answer because it's really hard for me not to talk about that. Because as you know, and you and I have worked together for a long while now, that's everything to us, in truth. And there's a few things that are important around it. Obviously, you look at organisations, and our strategy's always been to add capability to the business that adds value to our clients. Simple. That's always been our strategy, to look at the market. Could Servium and CCS do that? Tick, 100%. And as James alluded to, huge extension of the kind of relationships and partnerships with different technology vendors that Servium and CCS has brought, that means that we can really step into that trusted partner with our clients, where we're doing a significant amount for them and really enabling their success, which is where we want to be. It's all about client success for us. So clients and everybody you talk to in this market says they love their clients more than anybody else loves their clients. And then everybody also says their people are better than anybody else's people, and they care for their people more than anybody else. Now, the truth is everybody says that with good intent. What's really important for us is to get under the skin of that and see what that really means from, I think it was James that mentioned it a minute ago, around behaviours. Well, how do people behave? Because yes, we all say things with great intent, but actually it's your behaviours that count. It's your decisions that count. Whether you make that decision to put your client before your personal interests from time to time, to deliver what they need, whether actually you do that for your colleague as well, just to help them out. So that was one of the reasons why it took 2 years, is that actually we needed to get to know each other. We needed to spend time in different scenarios that we did. We had numerous calls, numerous face-to-face meetings, where actually you just learned to understand, well, how important is this to Paul, to James, to all their other colleagues? How important is clients deep down? How important are their colleagues deep down? And does that really match how we've operated throughout the development of our business? And again, it's been alluded to by all of you actually since we've been speaking is that working together has been easy actually, because fundamentally those two things have been very, very true right throughout every individual in each business. So coming together and working together has been easy. So always a fundamental part of what we were looking to achieve.
Yeah. And, as an organisation, Advania is obviously Scandinavian based in our culture and the way we operate. And I'm just wondering, Paul and James, I'll come to James first actually, from that Scandinavian feeling, are you getting that in terms of the way that we operate as a business? It's one of the best places to live in the world, and hopefully you're getting that feeling about the people that work here as well.
Yes, very much so. But before we actually put pen to paper as well and agree to join, you do go through a long process of talking and due diligence, and that's quite an intense process.
Yeah.
So you don't go through a journey of reading people's marketing prospectus. You go through a journey of how do people operate and how do they behave, actions, and what you do is who you are. And I remember when we announced the joining of Advania, I messaged one of my mentors who works in a global role, and I asked him at that point, what's your view? And he said, consistently impressive people, consistently good people. And that's come through throughout all the time. Whether I'm speaking to somebody in a Nordic region or in the UK, very clear, very considered, aligned to the outcome, not individual egotistical, engagement. And that makes a big difference when you're operating a business.
Yeah.
That makes a substantial difference in my book. So that I struggle a little bit with the word values, just being honest. Culture. I'm more aligned to talking about values and actions. And, values are very clear and the actions are congruent with those values in my experience.
Cool. And Paul, I don't know what you add to the conversation there, but I think they've covered pretty much everything. But, thinking of the Advania way and thinking, we are, never lose a client is one of our mantras. We are the tech company with people at heart. That, again, is one of our key sayings. Is that the sort of thing that you've seen with the coming together?
Yeah, without a shadow. And that's what you want to hear about never lose a customer. It's so hard to get customers on board and to be able to demonstrate that value because it's a competitive market we work in. So when you first of all you hear it and then you've got to see it. And I think the last 10, 11 months, that's where I've really seen it, that people will go that extra mile to make sure we never lose a customer, because that just makes your job a lot harder on growing the number.
Absolutely.
And that's driven by the people. So to me, culture, to me, culture is just the people.
Yeah.
And I think it was Richard Branson once said, he said, actually, don't worry about the customers. Worry about your team and your people, and they'll look after the customers. And that certainly that delegation, that responsibility where people can make those decisions, crack on, make the best decision for the customer and the company. I see that on a daily basis in my role. And people really do take that on board and feel that they are empowered to look after, make the right decisions. And I think it's an interesting balance certainly from the account management and seller's point of view is, where's the line between we're a business and we're here to move the business forward, versus if you always put what's best for the customer first, then I think you build that relationship, you build that trust, that long-term relationship. And that's what we're after. We're not after customers and organisations who want to deal with us once.
Yeah.
We want relationships, and there are relationships already in all parts of the business already, which have been going on for years and years and years and years. And that true partnership, and guess what? I think the customers see it. And certainly with the engagements I've been in since the acquisition, the customers seen it, they've come out, they've had subject matter experts in front of them, really trying to help them achieve and overcome their challenges. And that's the way you retain customers. There's got to be that level of service that is consistent and good, honest levels of information and input into their decision making, we will then add value. And if we add value, then we're on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. For me, trust is one of the key things that I think all of our clients can believe about us is, we want to gain their trust. We want to keep that trust and foster that going forward all the time. So really, really important. So that's past, present. Should we do future? Why not? Paul, I'll come to you first. What's the future look like? The coming together of these three businesses. For me, there is a massive area that we can go into. I don't know, what's your view? Are we going to change tack? Where are we going to go?
So you're right. There's an absolutely massive area. We've already started to address it. We talked a bit earlier on about the cross-sell.
Yep.
But that's really the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And going back to what we just talked about, trust, I think there are a lot of organisations where you've got that relationship. So now we can start to explore the areas that we now can help our customers. So whether that's from the company that's been acquired or from the core business, almost doesn't matter. Each area dovetails so nicely into the other areas. There's not much overlap. So suddenly the landscape, we've gone supersonic as far as what we can do and how we can help the various organisations. So I'm genuinely very excited about the future. I think we're going to be able to become that technology partner that organisations want to work with, the go-to name, if you like, so that we're consistently known for adding value, helping their challenges, and doing it in an open, trustworthy way. And I think it's really exciting for the future. I don't know if you two have got any views on that.
I think we're going to continue to grow and learn, right, and evolve collectively. We talk about being the trusted technology partner, and that trust starts from within. Number one on the value chain, trust. I'm sat with people that I trust, and we work alongside people that we trust, and that permeates beyond our internal workings together with clients, with our partners that we also work with in the manufacturer space. And you work with a lot of our clients, right? You've been engaged and you see the relationship that those people have with our people, right? In both of these organizations. And being able to support those people to a greater degree is very, very meaningful because it has a people impact, a positive people impact. And the work that we do with partners in the same degree, we've been working with partners for decades, but the richness that we can offer our relationship and our joint clients together because of this combination, it's hard not to be overwhelmed with that opportunity, actually. The key is how we've got to execute on that and iterate and we will continue to do that. And again, it goes back to values and a Scandinavian value, if you like, humility. It's being humble. And being willing to say, actually, we absolutely know the direction of travel. Our clients are giving us feedback and we're learning and we're evolving and we're adapting our approach, and we've done that from day one. But we're humble enough to say, actually, we don't have the answer for 5 years out, because this isn't a quick win. This isn't a one-off. This is building an organization. Before I joined Advania, I used to talk about how we built sustainable growth. And it was sustainable growth that supported people in our clients and supported, ultimately, the people inside the business that I represented and their lives. And the first time I heard you say, actually, it's not about sustainability. It's about going beyond that. It's about how do we build an organization that perpetuates perpetuates for our people. And that's the objective.
Cool. Sounds good. Now, Geoff, I'm going to revert back to a comment that James made, actually.
Right.
At a recent event, so we did a Connect event, which we had lots of fantastic suppliers and lots of clients came to. And James, I think, referred to you as his Sherpa.
He did.
If I remember right.
He did.
And I just wanted to ask you that same question, in terms of who your Sherpa would be climbing that mountain that we're on. Who is your Sherpa, Geoff? And apart from, all of us pretty much sitting here.
Yeah, and that is true. All of you sitting here, and James did actually say that it was. He did reference me, and then he did reference Paul as well. And I think that's a slight adjunct, if you like, to your question. But what both Paul and James have just said has always been true for us as well, which is that we've had different histories, and we'll always cherish that. We'll always cherish that with all the businesses that are part of Advania, but we co-create the future together.
Yeah.
And I think that's been one of our strengths, is that that's not just words, that is 100% fact. That's exactly what we do. And it's great to have different perspectives to be able to co-create that future together, because we've all got different parts of experience. And if it's client focused and people focused, then it's always going to bring some value. My Sherpas, I'm really fortunate in the sense that I have got lots of Sherpas. I can turn, Paul, James, the rest of the SLT, yourself in your roles. We've worked closely together in different areas. I've worked with lots of people in the organisation, and we've always worked on these things, haven't we? Certain sayings that it's a team sport. Mm-hmm. That's something that we say regularly, and that's just to kick us into reminding us how we behave. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
That's what's important. We've also had a statement that's gone through the business for a long time about leaning in. If any of your colleagues have got an issue, lean in. Yeah. Lean into each other's challenges, help each other, support each other. Yeah. We say it around, helping everybody become the best version of themselves that they can be, but doing it in a supportive way. So, of course, we should challenge each other to do that. We've got a fantastic opportunity, and we are all capable people. But it does extend further than that. All of the other CEOs in the other countries, Hege, our group CEO, Henrik, who worked really closely with us during the acquisitions. I've never had a situation in this organisation where I've felt I don't know where to go for help. I've never had that. Mm. I've not had that feeling where some people say, your role will be a lonely role. I've not had that feeling. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want to have that feeling. I want to feel a part of a team that's really trying to achieve something that's going to differentiate that team in the marketplace. And I feel that way. The three of us, before we sat down to do this, we were kind of pacing around one of our meeting rooms, working on a challenge together, and that's what we do. So, for me, it is I think the great thing that the organisation can do is kind of it can move between teams, and it comes together as teams from different parts of the organisation. So therefore, everybody's Sherpa is a different group of people each time.
Yep.
A bid, we might do that on a bid. We might work together on a bid. Actually, you might work with a number of other people on a bid. But we're kind of going into different teams all the time, creating that support environment for what's appropriate at that point. And I think that's a real skill in the organisation. Yeah. The fact that we can do that. When you come together in different teams, you're going to get a consistent experience of team sport and everybody leaning into each other's challenges. Yeah. And that, that's going to be fundamental to our continued success.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. This is absolutely a team sport. So, James, sorry, you wanted to add something there about the Sherpa piece.
Yeah, the point around the Sherpa was we're all helping one another to get to our individual peaks and collective peak. And it's not about job titles. It's not about what role we've done in the past or where we sit in the organisation. It's about humility, as it would be on a mountain, to get one another up that hill. That's the key point of the Sherpa message.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some other non-related questions that I hadn't actually prepped you with. So, so we'll see how we go. The first one of these I wanted to talk to you about was your challenge that you're doing in September. Yeah. And I really get your thoughts on the Race the Sun challenge that you're doing to raise a fantastic amount of money for a very deserving charity. How's it going? How's the training going? Because are you all in the same team?
No.
We're in different teams.
We're all in different teams.
We are.
Yeah.
So we've got competition here.
So
we've got
can't say anything.
No.
We're not saying anything.
Yeah, no Sherpering.
I was going to say, we're not Sherpering each other that day. It's we're Sherpas for other teams, but I think it's these one of our other colleagues on the SLT. Well, two of them actually, Nick and Pat, have taken this action over the last couple of years, and I keep trying to wrestle it away from them, to be honest, because the challenges keep getting harder. So. It all sounded fine until you showed me a picture of the actual hill that we're actually doing this thing around, and the bike ride isn't flat. The walk, jog certainly isn't flat.
No.
But as you said, at least the kayaking's flat. But that's the only thing that is. So I think we're all in training. We're all different levels of training, maybe. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to it being over. Pete, is probably a fair thing to say.
Okay. Paul, how's it going?
Yeah, good. I think there are different levels of training going on. I think to build on Jeff's point, I'm looking forward to being overcast on the day, not raining, not sunny, and then over. I'll go with that. James?
I've not actually done any specific training for it yet.
Disappointed.
But I will do, maybe, and I'll turn up and enjoy it. I'm just going to turn up and enjoy it. It's a full day, right? I live in the north of England, so we have a few hills.
We do.
Anyway,
we do.
And
I think there's a definite north-south divide here.
It'll be a good day. It'll be a good day.
Yeah. James doesn't need to do any specific training, because that's what James isn't sharing is his normal training routine. Yeah. So he doesn't really need to do any specific training to be ready for the event, whereas I feel that I do.
Others do.
Yeah,
most definitely.
It'll be a fantastic day, and I may well come along to heckle in the distance, because I live not far away from the Lake District where you're doing that fantastic challenge. And for everybody that's listening and watching, we'll put the Just Giving link on the bottom. If you want to support our SLT in what is a fantastic event, that would be very much appreciated.
Yeah, it would. Fantastic. Yeah.
And just going back to work then, in terms of subject matters, we've talked about the coming together and the fact that we can provide solutions across pretty much anybody's IT challenge. Is there anything else that we really want to focus on from an end user, a client perspective, to give the message out about us, where we're going, what's next?
Wow, there's
a big question.
I told you I'd put some in at the end.
You did. I mean, look, we've talked a lot about the strategy being client driven, and it will be, and always will be, on that basis, because to James's point, creating a self-sustaining and self-perpetuating business is difficult. Actually, because a self-perpetuating business, self-sustaining is an achievement, but for it to self-perpetuate, it's got to understand how it needs to change, evolve, make tough decisions, and then enter new markets and things like that. So we will always look at what our clients do in that area, and I think what we've said recently is that we'll continue to consolidate and differentiate. And there's an interesting aspect around the consolidate piece, because we've got a big market in the UK, but there's also something about the UK economy and the particular part of the market that we focus on, needing really, truly professional, market-leading support around their technology provision. And so that's where the consolidate comes from, is to be able to provide this to a significant part of the UK economy and make a real contribution to those organisations. And then tech is always changing. We know AI is around at this moment in time. We will always look at areas that evolve to help our clients as well. I think the thing that we will always do that will set us apart, but will also deliver value to the clients, is that we understand the tech market, the logistics, the procurement, the capability, and all of those types of things. But as was discussed earlier, the thing that will differentiate us is that we remain curious, and what we're really looking for is how do we bring this technology to create value for you? You know, we want to be successful by making our clients even more successful.
Absolutely.
And we will just keep that, use our great technology all the time, but keep that right in our minds and ensure that we go on to deliver that.
Yeah. Fantastic. In terms of, obviously Geoff's there talked about the future of our organisation in terms of always looking after our clients and always making sure that we're delivering that value and enabling our clients to have the best use of technology that they can. Where do you think we're going technology-wise? What does the future hold, do you think? And I know that's a really tough question.
Well, quite controversial in a world of AI, but behind any of the technology decisions that are made within our clients, there's a person, there's people
Absolutely.
that are using the technology. There's a policy around the technology that's supporting the people within our clients. And I genuinely believe that organizations will mature in the way that they design their businesses cohesively with people and technology. And that is the future.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But within that, there's a framework of how people build the strategy, the design. How do I design the organization of the future that enhances the way that the people in my organization can work and will be supported with technology?
Yeah.
And that impacts every single element of technology, physical, software, digital, or services across every organization. And there's a requirement because there's finite resource in every organization as well, and a lot of challenges around resources and people and money. There is a requirement for professional services, for advisory services to support the enablement of that technology and then the ongoing support as well.
Yeah.
And underlying every element of technology is this requirement to ensure that we're making the right decision for our organization and doing that in an environmentally sustainable way as well.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We should never, ever let that principle go.
Indeed.
There is an impact of technology. It can be negative and it can be positive.
Yeah.
And we have to work in a way that the future decision-making, and I see this, the future decision-making of technology and the impact of technology has to be positive from a people perspective and an environmental perspective. Yep. That is the future of technology from my perspective.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Go on, Paul.
Yeah, if I could just build on, I think James hit the nail on the head around there's always someone behind the technology.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, we need to continue to develop those structured, unstructured feedback loops from our customers. So whether that's a customer satisfaction questionnaire or feedback from their account manager or their exec sponsor, so that we can really understand, get that customer intimacy going, understand what their challenges are, have empathy and understanding. Then we start to implement and bring to bear the expertise we have within the business, but fundamentally for the benefit of our customers.
Yep.
And one of the things we've talked a lot about recently is we don't want a website talking about this is what we can do, this is how we do it. We want to be talking about how we can help people, how we can help our customers. So it's customer-centric conversations all of the time. Because if you're not focusing on the customer, pack up and go home. There's no point. And I think that's also then flows into the use of technology in the future. It's got to help those people who are using the technology. And I think we're in a really strong position, even in the last 12 months or so, understanding what the larger offering is now, to be able to do that and add real value to our customers.
In terms of, we've talked clients, let's talk about the people. Let's talk about the people within the organisation from the three different businesses and what that actually means for individuals like myself, like yourself, that are coming together. What's it going to mean to us all? Anybody
that has worked alongside me or with me in the past knows that my number one priority in action, not just words, is all about how I enable and support people to be successful for outside of work with what they do inside an organization. It's part of the operating model that I work with. And when we had the initial conversation with Advania, every single part of the coming together made sense academically and a thesis, if you like. And as we've gone through the journey of coming together, that has just been reinforced. So if I'm sat in this organization today now, and I think about how I'm going to enable my own success, because there's no stair lift up the mountain, I have an abundance of support and more capability to be successful. And for me, that means absolutely everything as an individual.
Geoff, you obviously, you're the man leading all of us Sherpas on that mountain climb. James is never going to get away from the Sherpa reference. How do you see, do you see changes? Do you see us doing different things in different ways? What's it going to mean for me as an individual, as part of the organisation?
Well, I think to start with, we are one organisation.
Yeah,
we've talked about where we've come from and where our colleagues have come from, but we are one organisation. And I think it's I love being able to create challenge for people. I think all of us strive to that. We all create challenge ourselves by stepping into, a client might ask us to do something, a colleague might ask us to do something. We don't know whether we're capable yet, but we're completely up for the challenge. I think it's great that we're creating that environment. Want people to be able to have varied careers inside the organisation. Want everybody to be ambitious for their colleagues as well, to actually see how their colleagues can go into different parts of the business. And we've just expanded that hugely in terms of what we are now capable of as a business and what we are actually doing for our clients. So really encouraging people that they can have a long and varied and challenging career inside the organisation is key to all of us, I think, and in the business. And I think in terms of where we go, we've said it a number of times, we will always stay with that technology landscape, high performance computing, cloud, AI, sovereign cloud. They're the types of things that are being spoken about today. In 10 years' time, it will be different. But we as an organisation will still be at the forefront of that and still be actually helping organisations to understand how they adopt it, how they use it to create ongoing value, sustainable value for their organisation economically, environmentally, and also in the way that they contribute to society. So, that's something that I think will stay with us, all of us, as a team in building the business.
And Paul, from your perspective and the account management teams that you look after, are you seeing any changes there with the different groups of people all coming together?
The short answer is yes, absolutely. I think their horizon on what they can talk about, who they can engage with, not just inside the business, but suddenly within their customer base, they can talk to a lot broader audience because there's a number of areas that perhaps the previous organisations couldn't engage or fully engage with. And I think there's a mindset change where in the past, some organisations would have to think about partnering to deliver managed services, professional services. That's now within our remit internally. And I think that becomes a powerful measure. That helps with the confidence. So one of my aims is to continue that learning and encourage the learning from the sellers and the account managers. Not just about what we can offer and how we can support our customers, but that learning of our customers. I think we talked about earlier on about customer intimacy. The more we can understand our customers, the more we'll be able to help them. And ultimately, if we're doing that, then we're on the right road.
And being in this industry, being in this organisation, this is my 30th year within the Advania Group. And I have to say that having the clients at the centre of everything we do really, for me, has been that case for the last 30 years, and long may it continue, because I think absolutely we have to go with our clients. Our clients are what we are really in terms of a business. So, really take on board all of those things. Okay, I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining us on the Technology Boardroom podcast. It's been a great honour to have Geoff, James and Paul with me today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode.